Canada, how we could do, how can we keep it well and keep improving it. Life is really a question of fate and circumstances, being at the right time, at the right places, with the right ingredients. And furthermore, I've been very blessed with a good mind and good health. And that allowed me to build a company from a garage up to 180,000 employees in 34 different countries. And when we're younger, we all hustle a bit to make some monies that we can live in dignity and support the family. What I want to say here now is, I had a chance to live in 34 different countries with dignity. I choose Canada. And Canada is a great, great country. Do we have some flaws? Yeah. Are they fixable? Yes. You know, sometimes when things don't function in your personal life, in the business, or in the country, you should know you got a problem. If you don't know you got a problem, you really have a problem. So the very key is to focus on the problems, right? Maybe I should get maybe the problems first out of the way and then go into the positives. The problem is our debt is rising like crazy. You know, we pay $120 million a day, just the interest payment. By the way, who's getting all the monies? So the debt's rising like crazy. I think it's about $2 trillion. Then the bureaucracy is rising enormously. Let me give you a true story. I decided about 10, 12 years ago to get out of the big car business. My gut feeling was I'm doing something which maybe is not the best for mankind. I don't want to be a hypocrite because, again, when we're younger, we try to make some monies. But like I said, I felt blessed that I said I wanted to do something where society maybe benefits better from my, call it, experiences, what they accumulated. So, but then 15 years ago, I went very heavily into agriculture. The more I went into it, the more I could see this huge chemical jungle. In industrial farms, you see no more eagles fly. Why? There's no more rabbits. There's no more pheasants. The fungicide and pesticides we spray kills just about everything. It goes into the air, we breathe the air. It goes into the water, we drink the water. It goes into the soil, we eat the food. The message again, it's an important one. What I want to get across is, we, the elderly generation, is somewhat gross negligence because all the kids nowadays have allergies. The stage 2 diabetics is rising like crazy and autism because for the simple reason, the food is contaminated. You know, when you got to realize that about 95% of the food eaten in the world comes from industrial farms. Okay, so what I would like to see is, and I've developed 7-point principles, which are purely economic, nothing to do with policies. Basically, those are economic principles to get Canada again on a sound economic footing. Okay, so let's just, the 7 principles basically are, no country should have debt. Okay, so I'm saying, first of all, you don't solve anything by pointing fingers whose fault it is or coming with a chainsaw approach. So I'm saying in 20 years, Canada should be debt-free. And I make some remarks how we can do that quite easily, right? Secondly, the bureaucracy, and I didn't tell you the story. I got into agriculture, and I have some farms in the Aurora, Newmarket area. I built a greenhouse. For a greenhouse, you didn't need a permit, but I also wanted to have a farmer's market attached to it, right? I'm waiting now for 3 years to get the permit to build a farmer's market. You mean it's beyond, huh? And then there's thousands and thousands of those examples. Society cannot function. All I want to do is produce foods and organic foods and provide it for people, right? Okay, so anyway, the bureaucracy is enormous, but again, in a civilized country, every person should have the right to find a job, whatever the openings are, right? So I don't really blame the bureaucrats, but so I said we should not come in with a chainsaw. So basically, I would recommend no bureaucrat gets fired, but there be a 10-year hiring freeze till you come down to a reasonable percentage of the bureaucrats towards the citizens, right? There was a survey done just a little while ago, and I just kept 3 figures in my mind. One was Canada had 100 bureaucrats per 1,000 people. The United States had 70 bureaucrats per 1,000 people, and Japan had 40 bureaucrats to 1,000 people, right? So we are way over. I could never build a Magna anymore, you know? If we could scale it back, right, 40, 50, 60 years ago, everybody was helpful. When you go to a municipality, they said, look, you be careful about this, do this and that, and a week later, you had a permit. Now, if you want to move a toilet and the thing, it would take you a few months to get a permit, okay? Even it's gone way. So anyway, the proposal is, I said, a very civilized thing, what to do to get Canada back on a sound economic footing, to have a hiring freeze till we have the right percentage, right, of bureaucrats. Thirdly, we have a tax system which is, by any chance, do we have the book here? Can I see it for a minute? Yeah. We have, when I run Magna, I had 20 lawyers on the one side of my office. That's Jeff, you know, he's responsible for the organization. Thanks, Jeff, right? This is the codex, the tax codex. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of paragraphs, and they're more convoluted than others, right? As I started out to say, when I run Magna, I had about 20 lawyers on one side of my office and 20 tax specialists on the other side. You know, when you run such a large company, you got to make sure that you don't get sued by anything. So if I want to do something, went to the lawyers, I say, check that out if that is legal, and usually I say, yeah, that's legal. Then I went over to the tax specialist and say, how would that be treated by the tax department? After a few days, they tell you by looking it through, like, this is gray, it could be either or. But there's specialists down which can give you an answer. So after a few weeks, you get a big bill, and again, the thing is, it could be either or. It's gray. It's convoluted, thousands and thousands. No society can function if we have so we must have a thing. And we must have a tax system, black and white. If you have a high school diploma, you should be able to figure it out, right? Black and white, no loopholes, right? The ones which make more, they pay more tax, right? And I would say up to about 80 or 100,000, there should be no taxes, you know, because with all the inflation, etc. And then for the next up to 200,000 or 300,000, they got a small percentage. So, and then the percentage would rise, and the percentage would be 50%. If you got $1 million income, it'd be above, be 50%. But so but income is income is income. There should be no special loopholes, right? It's got to be black and white. So anyway, so number 3 is the point thing is we got to have a tax system where people can understand Number 4 is very important. We should not destroy free enterprise. Free enterprise is the foundation for free society. Capitalism is maybe, it doesn't sound right? For the simple reason, there's more statistics done in the United States. For instance, the statistics in the United States is 1% of the citizens in the United States hold about 50% of the wealth. That means 99% of the people hold the other 50%. Okay, so this is the dilemma, huh? And my mission is, and hopefully I can convince you that you people can be part of it. My mission is, I want to see Canada the first country in the world with an economic charter of rights.
You're right on!
What are the basics of an economic charter of rights? What are the basics? You know, if the economy doesn't work, nothing else will work. If the economy doesn't work, you cannot feed the hungry, you cannot look after the most fragile people, the elderly, the sick and the handicapped. You can't, so it's the economy, the economy, the economy. We do not talk what drives the economy. The economy is driven by 3 forces: smart managers, hardworking employees, and investors. The message I want to get loud and cross is workers have a moral right to some of the profits they help to generate. Okay? If we fail to create capitalists out of the workers, we have got a society. So what I recommend is free enterprise is practiced by company with 300 employees, below 300 employees. It's totally, if you as an owner or you start out, you gotta know the people, you gotta know the employees. Some work harder, smarter, you give them more, whatever. So it's pure free enterprise. When you grow larger, above 300, then by law, you lose that relationship, you know, with the employers. Then you need a system where the law says you have to share the profits with the employees. Let me give you a quick Magna story. When I put in the corporate constitution at Magna, which said the wages have to be average to the competition within the region, and the workers get over and above 10% of the profits, or above their wages. The first year profits climbed 40%, the second year 100%, the third year 200%. The message again there is, if you let employees participate in a tangible way, you trigger a force, an energy of untold proportions. So if we get employees involved, we can pay back the debt, you know, the 2 trillion within 10 years, right? Okay, so I think this is part of the corporate, of the economic charter of rights that we read. The human charter of rights alone is not sufficient. We have to fortify it with an economic charters of rights. Economic charters of rights will lead to economic democracies, and economic democracies are the basis for democracy itself. So that is, who could argue against that? That workers, without workers, you can't make a profit. So day in, day out, when I run Magna, every day I made an effort where I kind of analyze myself, what do I have to do that workers respect me? You know, and everything is really an evolutionary process. So when you go back, way back from the caveman to the hunters, to the hunted, to the kings and the servants, and now we have an era where we have the bosses and disgruntled employees. The reason I was successful, the employers were my partners, okay? So that's the difference. We gotta, so I'm not proposing that present companies, etc., because you cannot change, you create a havoc, right? It's the slower, it's a different area, it's a different generation, which where we can grow the economy, and because the existing companies we could not do, because You know, you have pensioners, which have shares in public companies, and all of a sudden the public company has to share the shares. It would not work. It's an evolution, and if we from the below 300 employees in that, it's an evolutionary process, and the owners would be happy because they make more money if they share the profits with them. But all existing, I think, would be excluded, would not be. So again, you gotta need a good civilized approach, right? So, that was number 4, it's free enterprise. It's absolutely crucial, right? And 5 years, where the law says, companies above, which grew from low to up over 300, they would then, the law would say, you gotta share the profits with the employees. So that brings me to point 6. I think high school should end at grade 10. In grade 11 and grade 12, we should teach our kids, right? I think it will be great for our children if you expose them to the trades, if you teach them the trades, right? And because we don't make things anymore. We don't make things anymore. When you take a look at society, the United States dominated the world for the last 150 years, but the United States is slipping now. China is gaining, okay? And I am not against, I love Chinese people. I have a very large Chinese art collection. I have great respect for the Chinese. And many times when I debate with them a bit, they say, Frank, the Chinese culture was a century ahead of the European culture, etc., etc. And you got to agree with that. So, and there's many Chinese here in Toronto. I think great people, the industrious, great, etc. But again, it's the philosophy, the same. The system doesn't work either anymore in Canada, right? And so any politician can bring you forward something new, they will be defeated, because if it's new, you can criticize it, right? And to me, I think, which I have the most respect for and admire, is Winston Churchill, right? I think he was one of the great statesmen and politicians. And before he died, he said on numerous occasions, politics doesn't work. Parliament needs a chamber of citizens. And thereby, I really would like to appeal to small business and to concerned citizens and to family farmers too, right? Family farmers and small business were always the backbone of the country. And a country which could feed its citizens never had a problem, but we have a problem now. Family businesses, family farms are practically on welfare, and kids of family farmers say, Mom, Dad, I don't want to be in farming. I don't want to be on welfare. So we got to reverse that. Huh? To produce food should be the most noble profession you have, to feed the hungry. So I think there's a way. I think if family farms grow organic food, then they will get a subsidy. It's not a subsidy, it's a thing what we should do, right? So it's very important. So grade 6 would be where we teach kids how to work in trades. By the way, the people with the most monies at night were the tradesmen, because basically the system worked. We had over 400 factories, right? If you have a manager, if he is very good, he's got the choice to make more monies, then he has to replace himself, okay? Because we usually have about between 2 and 4% on the management per factory. I've always said there's no bad employees, only managers which are maybe less experienced or less qualified, right? So anyway, if a manager wanted to make more money, he has to go out and open up a new factory, right? And the assistant manager moved ahead on the old factory, but the manager still got a cut, right? If the manager replaces himself 20 times, and we had good managers with that, they would maybe make 10 or 20 million, right? Good for them, right? So you cannot stifle that when people want to think about things, focus on things, let it be, right? The very key is, what are the minimum standards of a civilized society? That is very important. And I will come back to the great point 6 of our economic charter. Point 7 of our economic charter is, no Canadian kid should go to breakfast hungry. That means breakfast would have to be served in school. No Canadian kid should leave the school being hungry. That means lunch has got to be served. And by law, the food would have to be organic. And any politicians say, we cannot afford that. That's political suicide. Because we could save billions on medical costs, okay? Because the most parents pray when they have kids, when they get married, when they have kids, I hope our kids grow up healthy and happy. If they don't grow up healthy, it would hinder their learning activities. There's no way they can be happy. So that's very important, right? That we have, that we got to push. So basically, what I have in mind is, and let me go back to grade 6, where high school will end at grade 10, where the kids will be exposed to trades. I would say grade 13, I think kids should be exposed to social services, because to give 1 year to make it a better country, there's a lot of lonely people, hurtful people. Let's take a typical family, and let's say in Toronto. Let's say they got 2 kids. After a while, let's say the son is 18, 20. He finds a job in Vancouver. Maybe the daughter finds a job in Ottawa. You have lonely parents because they do. Families are drifting apart for many, many reasons. So to be part of a social service, to be part of a thing 1 year, I think. I've done a fair amount of surveys with investigation, or wanted to get the feeling of family farmers and small business. This is a sort of an add-on to where we expose kids to trades, and I think it would be great if kids would do 1 year of social services. Even as voluntary, if not, then maybe there would be 1 year of military, right? But the option would be do some social service, but I think it would be very helpful, especially for kids which come out or come from maybe from a poverty family, because it would teach them discipline. It would, I think it'd be great, and I think it's in a civilized country, no citizens should go hungry, right? We need soup kitchens. There's a lot of things we can do. So anyway, that's what I would like to see, that Canada be the first country in the world with an economic charter of rights. I can only hope that I have provoked your mind, and I hope that you people can be part of it. I have a certain age, yes. I have accumulated a lot of experiences, and we have to also realize, when we look back in previous histories, when we looked at societies, they had wise counsels, right? And I would fall maybe under that thing here, but I think there's many. The one more thing I want to mention too, like I said, I've given many lectures from Harvard right across the States, right across Canada, right across Europe, and it occurred to me that what is the mandate of a university, right? The mandate of university is to teach young people how can we have a more civilized society. But really, universities will be the ideal institutions where we could develop structures which could lead to an ideal society. If we haven't got a blueprint, how can we ever find it? So I think it's very important that that universities should work on that. What should be the ideal structure? But anyway, thanks for listening. And if you got any questions, I'd be very happy to answer those. Thank you.